Yes, welcome back, friends. In today's session, we are going to continue with our topic of physical geography. And in the previous session, we introduced about the forces which affect the Earth's surface, or forces which or that affect the Earth. In introduction, we saw that we have two categories of these forces, which are Earth's movement and volcanism. So in today's session, we are going to start with the Earth's movement, and then later in other session we'll discuss about volcanism. So by starting with the Earth's movement, we are saying that Earth's movement is the movement of solid parts of Earth towards each other, or away from one another, or sideways. So the movement can be towards each other, can be away from one another, or can be sideways. Three ways of movement. These are also known as diastropism. Types of Earth's movement. They are classified into two types. Earth's movement, they are categorized into two major groups. The first one is vertical or radial movement, and the second one is lateral or horizontal movement. Vertical or radial movement and the lateral or horizontal movement. By starting with the vertical or radial movement, we are saying that these are upward and downward movement of forces. These forces cause the uplift, or we call them as epirogenic and downward movement, cymatogenic. These forces which cause the vertical Earth's movement operate from interior upward towards the surface, or downward from the surface to interior, the result of our vertical movement. So vertical movement, they can be uplifting or downward movement. So if they are uplifting, that means they operate from interior to outside, and if they are downward movement, they operate from the surface to inside. So the results of the vertical movement, the first result is the crustal rock to fault. When faults develop, produce features like plateaus, basins, block mountains, and escarpments. So all of these plateaus, basins, and features like those, we discuss them later as we are continuing with physical geography. And the second is the changes sea level because of the upward lift of the land or sink of the land. So if we have the upward movement, that means the sea level will tend to decrease. If the sea level will tend to somehow decrease. So these changes in the sea level is not static changes, but is due to vertical forces. The static change is the change of the sea level due to ice melting during ice ages. So kuna changes the sea level due to static changes, au changes the sea level kutokana na Earth's movement. From there, let's move to lateral movement. Lateral or horizontal movement. They are organic forces or movement because they are on the process to build mountains. So lateral movement ni important kuliko vertical. Lateral movement zinapelekea features mbalimbali ukilinganisha na vertical movement. So orgogenesis means the process of mountain building. So they are organic forces because they result into the formation of mountain, which you call it as orogenesis. Now, there are two types of lateral forces, which are compressional and tensional. Compressional means they act towards each other. So compressional forces are forces which move towards each other, move against each other, are forces which move towards each other, such that move against each other. They tend to shorten the crust or land. They squeeze the land. Compression forces cause folding or land. Hence, fold mountains. They lead to formation of the fold mountains. So as we know that the fold mountains or the appearance of the fold mountains. Normally they appear as we can draw them as if they are like this way. Now all of these, it is because of the compression of forces ambazo zilikuwa zimeact hapo zinapelekea formation of something like that one. So that's how folding mountains they tend to appear. And the second effect is break the land to form faulting, which may produce features like block mountains, Rift Valley and faults. So unaona importance of the compression of forces. Lakini from there we have the tension of forces. These are forces that tend to stretch the land. The forces move away from each other. They pull the land away. So because they pull the land away, they can lead to different features also. The forces cause faulting of the crust and produce features like faults, block mountains and features associated with earth's movement. Kwa unaweza kuona compression of forces ambapo zinakuwa na act pamoja na tension of forces jinsi ambapo zinakuwa zina act. So these are just a few explanation on the horizontal forces and the vertical forces, also about the tension and compression forces. Now from there we can move to concept of Rift Valley. Rift Valley is one among the effect of the horizontal forces. Now Rift Valley is a through or hollow which may result from both vertical or lateral movement of the earth crust. It is formed when two faults develop parallel to each other. It can develop either by tension of forces or compression of forces. It can develop by tension of forces or compression of forces. And by formation of Rift Valley by tension of forces. Tension of forces, they pull objects away from each other. So this is formed when tension of forces move away from each other. These forces of tension produce faults and block between two parallel faults subsides to form Rift Valley. That is formation by tension. And by compression, this is formed when horizontal forces act towards each other. These forces of compression produce faults on the outside of the parallel faults, and the pieces of the land on either side are lifted upward above the general level of the ground to form Rift Valley. Dramatical formation of Rift Valley occurs like this. So for example, this is the Rift Valley formation, lakini hapa palikuwa pako normal tu, pako normal. So due to presence of tension of forces ikatengeneza fault, na zile faults zikapelekea hii land ya kumove kwenda right kwenda left, hence Rift Valley. Rift Valley inaweza kawa modified kwenda kwenye features mbalimbali river, like kama unavyojua kwamba some of the lakes of Tanzania they are lakes of Rift Valley. For example, Lake Nyasa, Lake Tanganyika, they are of Rift Valley. Examples of Rift Valley include the East Africa Rift Valley in Africa, Jordan, and Lateral Rift Valley in Europe. Lateral Rift Valley in Europe. Also, we have the block mountains as one among the effects or the results of the compressional forces and tensional forces or horizontal forces. A block mountain refers to a table-like mountain formed due to the influence of faulting that lead to rising of the crust rocks. It is near a flat surface. A block mountain can be formed by either tension or compression force. This is when Earth's movement causes parallel faults, which results into uplifting of some parts. Example of block mountains are Usambara and Ruguru in Tanzania, Ruwenzori in Uganda, Vosges and Black Forest in Europe, and Mount Sinai in Asia. So all of these are the examples of block mountains. As you can see, we have faults here, and then the forces they try to just like pushing this piece upward and this one downward, and then it will result into the formation of the flat block mountains. So let us end up here, and in the next session we'll continue with our discussing about the plateaus, basins, and other structures regarding physical geography. Thank you, and let me wish you nice studies. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video. Thank you.